Dokie. All right. Okay. There I am. Hello. Welcome. Okay. Good morning. I'm here. I'm live. Woohoo. Are you ready? Are you guys ready for this? All I'm going to say this week, hang on. Just saying, hang on. It's going to be a cray kind of energy that's coming in. And you thought planes dropping from the sky were crazy, or planes landing upside down and everybody living was crazy. We are entering into well, okay, Aquarius rules the sky, and Pluto's in Aquarius, and Pluto rules the underground. So you got to think of whatever is up, he's trying to pull down. Right? So there's that pulling down. There's that energy of what's trying to be pulled down. And we are in a place where it's weeding out the dreams that are stale. You want to continue on a course that you think that you should be going. That big hook, this reminds me of if you've ever seen in Nashville when they go on the stage and a big hook pulls them out. It's basically what God's going to be doing. It's going to be pulling you out. If you think that that's the way that you're going to do it, or if you want to continue fighting it, you're just dumb. Because it's just going to give you roadblocks. This is where we're going to be leveling up. So leveling up the dreams, the visions, and then letting go. This is where our soul, what is your soul hanging on to? Right? So what is that? What are those pieces that you're hanging on to that you think that this is the way it should go, or this is what I should believe in, or this is what I've always done? Yet it's like I'm going into a new direction. I'm changing, I'm evolving, and that no longer sticks with me. That no longer aligns with me. And that could be, especially when you have had a dream or you thought this is the way that your business could be going, your relationship should be going, um, the way you just in general, your whole life, right? And this is ending where a transit of 16 years or so, 15 years that came in with Obama, and then Obama's no longer there. Where Bernie Sanders was like, ooh, everybody loved him. And the more they're digging into him, it's like, oh shit, he's not as nice as what they said he was, is he? This is where the craziness and the changes. Whoever thought that the vice president of the United States would go over to Europe and call people out at a at what was it, at a forum for an energy forum. He called people out. He called the whole EU out. He called the UK out. He called these people out. And then the guy came in the next day all crying, oh, look at that. This is it's just, we're watching this like show that is so outrageous, that is so crazy. Where people are now waving the Canadian flag and, yeah, I'm Canadian, as they walk into Costco and Safeway. I could have smacked if one more person asked me if we were China based. I was just like, I was so frustrated yesterday with people just on this bandwagon of justification. We are justified to do it. Seeing what's going on. I mean, we're entering into this time when we could go back to the 1940s. What was Germany doing? Well, they were censoring. They were trying to make people, freedom of speech needs limitations. That's their law. That's what they're telling people. We are seeing where six armed men going into somebody's place because they put a meme on their page. This is the craziness that we're entering into. This is where where we are starting to enter into these crazy waters. This is where Venus is in Aries, and she's slowing down, and she's going to be going retrograde just after Mars goes forward on Sunday. This is where we are trying, like, containing the energy. We want to be secure within ourselves in a world that is not secure at all. There is nowhere where you're going to find that security at this time. So this is diving into a deeper version, a deeper energy of our own selves, and it's evolving. And this is where, especially with Mars, coming direct in 4 days, intense. And you're going to try and steer this ship through waters, through waves that you just got to let it go and say, okay, this is where the divine will comes in. This is where it comes in and says, no, I got to just surrender it. And I got to trust in God, because I've always done it this way. I've always gone this course. I've always charted this way. And it's like, sorry, we want to give you and lead you somewhere else. And that's the surrender. That means a belief system that you might believed in, and it's no longer there. This is so heightened where it's like, honestly, if you saw somebody saying something about suicide or whatever, I would just call the 1-800 line. I would call the police and say, hey, this is what they're posting online. Something like that, definitely. Because this energy, Pisces, is bipolar. It is up and down and all around, and it is crazy. And it can get you into really dark depths of the ocean, to great heights and beauty and sparkly. So you could be diving into all of these crazy energies that are coming in, and with the intensity. And then watching whatever you've had attachments to dissolve. They're no longer there. You're trying to grasp onto something. You're trying to grasp onto something that is no longer there. And we are on the edge, and also ending on the edge and ending the 14-year cycle of Pisces, of Neptune being in Pisces, as it will ingress into Aries and then retrograde back. Whew. This is really, if you looking at your energy, if you're a manifestor, reflector, generator, or or a reflector, or a projector, this is like recognizing it. And how are you responding? If you're a generator, this is reflector. How is it going? And how are you being invited, and people really want you? Or are you this manifester, which is where you have to let people know. Manifestors are telling people, letting people know, this is, we're doing this, you're doing, because that's their manifesting, that's what they're creating. So when you see manifestor generators, it's like they're telling people they're moving, and then they're having to wait for a response, and then they're moving, and they're kind of like going back and forth like this. And this is where also, if you're are a reflector, it's like looking at your lunar cycle. How are you doing it? And we are in this crazy reflection of 3 days before we have to react. This is where, if there's something there and you're upset about it, and I remember with hockey, if you're upset with the coach, wait 24 hours before you talk to him. If you're upset about something, I'm going to say wait 3 days. Wait 3 days before you go and react to something, because the energies are very all over the place, and they can be very subtle. So we got to watch what we say. Mercury in Pisces, and the moon is not fully squared Jupiter yet, and it's not conjunct, lovely little Saturn. So we may say things that we don't want to say. So we got to really watch what we say. I know I do. I really have to watch what I say. I was like biting my tongue yesterday on things, just being very polite to people and not reacting, in a way that was very defensive. But saying stuff that you can't take back is a major red flag. And right now we're at yellow flag. So if anybody played soccer, you get a red flag, you're out. Yellow flag, that's a warning. So here we go. The divine's giving you a warning and saying, I'm giving you a yellow flag. Watch your actions. Watch how you're doing things. Need coffee today. Loads of coffee. If you want to buy me a coffee, buy me a coffee. That would be great because that would put gas in my tank too. Um, and this is more to take the extra weight of what God is to deliver and what is going to look like. And can feel we can feel lighter if we allow ourselves to go with the flow. If you are trying to fight this energy and say, I have to do it this way, this is the way I've always done it. I've always done it this way. I've always done my readings this way. I've always been a psychic medium. I've always been this. Well, you know what? It's time changing. I don't, and there's something inside of me that I want to grab hold of that because that's an identity that people know me of, but I'm letting it go because it no longer aligns with me. Weird. It's no longer aligns with me where I'm looking at being a wellness astrologer, awakening mentor, right? So it's allowing me, I'm expanding it in new ways. What does that look like? I have no idea, but I'm allowing myself to go with it and go into that direction. The curiosity's around the corner, but you get pulled with this bipolar Pisces energy that could take you all over the place. But in order to feel lighter, it's surrendering, thinking that, well, we have to do it this way. This is the way everybody's always done it. And it's like, no, we're not doing it that way. I've always done things this way, or we've always created this way. This is where, businesses are going to be drastically changing. When I just being where I am right now, working and watching, and it's interesting because I know by September and the way things are going, especially with March coming in, and that's really getting into some dramatic craziness that's going to be coming out, that how we react and what we do and how we do it is not going to be the same. This is where, Pluto in Aquarius is about secret societies and uncovering of secret societies being connected. And of course, we all go to the Illuminati. I went to the technology part where there's new stuff that is coming out in technology and what that technology is looking at. There was an update, and anybody who was on Windows 10, I don't even think I've been on Windows 10 for years, but Windows 10 updates. So if you have an older computer, older phone, and it's an Android, all of these updates came up, and so, new CPUs and GPUs, it's not working anymore. Apple's going to be doing the same thing this week. And this is where this tech society, there's new technology that's out there that some people aren't even going to grasp at it. And I was listening to some of these tech guys. I don't know all of the lingo, but this is some of the tech stuff where if you are doing playing games, gaming and stuff, and you're a really big gamer with all the different, and you are on 40 to 80 GPUs rendering, this is where the new ones are coming out, and the new ones that are coming out that usually go for 1,500 are now selling for $9,000. So this is new stuff. And then these new computers that people aren't even going to be touching, with practically all the new technology that's coming out, where I've seen people say, oh, you can't trust, AI, you can't trust this. And I feel like it's not so, you can't be fearful of it. And that's the thing. It's like, because this is Pluto in Aquarius, you can't be afraid of it. You got to learn it. You got to understand it, and play with it, and allow yourself to step into it in a spiritual sense, in a spiritual way, and utilize it. And this is going to be allowing for you to do a lot more, or connect more with either different people, different ideas, different concepts, and bringing that forth. And this is where a lot of it is going to expose. It's going to expose a lot of information and what has been the theme, the changes, the adjusting, and not seeing the change is the frustrating part, because we are heading into a lot of changes, a lot of unknowns. It's like when the first TV came out, my mother refused to have a TV. She didn't have a TV till 1956, which was really odd in that time. A lot of people already had TVs. My dad wanted to have a TV. My mother would rather use the wireless. The wireless was the radio. And finally, it wasn't until my aunt came down and said, "I'm not coming down till you get a TV," because she watches The Edge of Night. It was the soap opera of the time. And once she got it, she found, "Oh my god, this is a fabulous tool. This is really helping me. It's calming." It's, the my one brother was really, really sick, and she had to hold him upside down, and because he'd get a lot of fluid on his lungs and stuff. Anyways, she found that that calmed him down, and that helped get the fluid out more because he could watch the TV and the motion of the TV. It helped when she was doing something, she could turn it on and the kids could just watch a show, you know, sort of like a babysitter. She called, the boob tube. But the adjusting on what was bringing forth the information, a lot of bad stuff was with it, definitely, like the computer. You got to watch the internet, you got to watch what's happening. But this is where, because it's so new in the nuances, that's where you're finding this control wants to take in. This control wants to bring you down. This control wants to say, "Hey, we want you to do it this way. We don't want you looking over there. We don't want you to talk against the government and say bad things, because you're going to make everybody else say bad things." Right? So this rebellion is coming in, and that's Pluto and Aquarius. This is where you're going to find um, heresy and people really speaking out, like this week, especially politically, going to be really crazy. We just had, where all of the leaders were meeting in Paris, in the EU and in England, meeting in Paris at Versailles. That's where they meet. What a place to meet, right? Versailles. Just, and we're also in the time of the French Revolution. I thought that was very interesting. But this is the patterns, and some of the patterns we can't see. So as the sun has just ingressed into Pisces, and the sun doesn't really like Pisces because he gets drowned out, right? It's coming to the end of a season. It's coming to the end of, the last two signs, Aquarius and Pisces, are fucking hard. They're not, when somebody is born like an Aquarius, it's a hard sign, because there is that vastness of the sky, right? So you have the Aquarius, the vastness of the sky, the scientific mind coming in, of the I knowing, the seeing, the understand, coming in and trying to have it reflected onto this earth. It's a very difficult thing. And this is where we're, a lot of information and things coming out we're not going to understand it all. Like, how did a plane turn upside down? It flipped. Like, usually you see it, doing, if it's really icy, it's kind of like a 360 going off onto its side. But to do a whole flip over, that's talent, man. And nobody was killed, thank God. So there is that frustration. And here comes Saturn, going to be coming out of its shadow into the last decan of Pisces, wanting to bring us the new energies of the last 29 and a half years, because that's the cycle of Saturn going around the sun, right? So it's coming to the end, because Pisces is the last sign. And in there is the North Node, and there's Neptune is there, and it's like not normal. Like, this is not normal. And we have Mercury's going to be in extended care too, because it's going to go into Aries and then retrograde just after Venus. So they're both going to be retrograding together and then going back into Pisces. So hardcore reality is coming in, and Saturn is going to wrangle on our dreams. And this is where the concept where when I was looking at it of someone who's addicted to something, like an alcoholic, who knows they're an alcoholic, knows it's bad, but still pours the drink and says, well, I'll deal with that afterwards. This is where this energy is. It's like, oh, I'll deal with that afterwards. Instead of taking the surrender and saying, I'm not going to do that. I want to change. And it's the fear of that change. It's the fear of that unknown of what it's going to bring to me. A fear of the acceptance of people knowing, oh my God, I'm an alcoholic. Oh my God, look at me. Oh my God, I'm a whatever. And people finding that out. And then I have to own my truth. And this energy is coming in for you to own your truth. And in owning that. And this is a battle, an ideology battle, right? And you're going to find a lot of people are going to be missing, are going to be, don't want to realign. And this is where in the last 16 years, we haven't aligned really truly with our heart with Pluto and Capricorn. Pluto and Capricorn is not about aligning with your heart. Capricorn does not have anything to do with the heart. It is about structure. It's about bones and building things and creating things and connecting with things. Capricorn's not about heart and connection, and it's Leo. And Leo's in the opposition of Aquarius, and Pluto's in this energy. So this is about allowing ourselves to come back into a heart-centered expansion of looking at the world in a new way. And coming into that and coming into new ideologies, new ideas, new thought patterns. That's Aquarius. Bringing in, okay, seeing those structures and saying, hey, yeah, I saw you guys build those, but they're not very good structures. This is where you got, with the revolutions and, even with the reform of the Catholic Church within the UK. This is where it's like those things aren't working. This is where we're seeing these planes fall out of the sky. You didn't have it then because they didn't have planes, but falling on. Well, is this really working? Like, what's going on here? Right now, also, we have China wanting to build ships, but there's no material. There's nobody with that complete knowledge of building these ships, because they need to build these ships to ship things out, but they have to make it military equipped because they're coming to the States. So this is like looking at it, how new things are happening, how things are starting to evolve. And I think I said this before, that you're going to see more people on cruises, taking cruises, and being on the ocean than ever before. But the thing is that technology has to be reinvented, restructured, because a lot of the ships and the container ships that were built way back, some of them in the 50s, 60s. Some of the newer ones are in the 80s and 90s, and that's pretty old for some of those ships to be out there on ocean. So we have this, all of this is all coming up in this week. This is this week. Yeah, that's this week, guys. Have fun. No. But it is about the big surrender, about stepping into the big surrender and looking at what are the new ways of building things, the new material, the new ideas of building things, and how are we going to create that? How are we going to create this new world? And one of the reasons why, again, I'm doing that divine walk, and it's doing things in a new way, might be doing a new prayer you've never done before, might be listening to something you never really listened to before, but hearing it in a different way. It might be breaking down those walls and saying that, oh, okay, that's interesting. It's coming out of a place, and I feel like out of this place of fear and hate because of old dogma, old ideas, other ways of doing it, and coming into this newness. There's a documentary, this young guy, I think I saw him on TikTok or so. Anyways, documentary. He's going through the different churches in South America and how some of the different churches were built. And they were built on a vibrational wavelength where they were built on sound and sound for healing. So when music was played or when the preacher was talking, the vibration of the energies would be vibrating through the people. Interesting, and I'm just like, wow, that's pretty cool. So where a lot of this, technology about sound vibration, about how things were created, rising up, coming up. And this is all, Aquarius. Aquarius is all about the waves, right? New vibrations coming in and creating these new vibrations for healing, um for us, just for the abstract, for the thinking, the new computer technology and AI technology. And I know there's I love her. And she was saying something that somebody she follows, and I listened to the woman and saying that, oh, she would not trust AI, she doesn't trust chat GPT. And I'm just like, first thing I thought was that this person is really causing a lot of fear instead of taking it where there's so much there that can be created in it and with it. And I think that's what we got to look at and not be fearful of it. There's a lot of things in there, definitely. It's just like monitoring your TV, but it's learning it so that others aren't dictating to you and you not knowing what it's all about and you just believing whatever they say because you don't know. So this is bringing in that information and that technology. So let's pull a card, right, Mr. Tracy? Oh, okay. Steve's making a bake. Well, they can hear you. It's amazing how his voice can vibrate through. Discover Apple. Okay, this just popped up now. Discover Apple Intelligence. Use Apple built-in personal intelligence to enhance your writing, create unique images, and more. That just popped up on my computer. That's hilarious. Hello, Steve. The girls are all saying.
Hi.
Hi, he says.
I'm making some breakfast.
He's making brekkie.
At 9.
So, you're all invited. Come on over. Bring the coffee. If you're wanting to join me for the 21 days, it's going to be recordings that I'm going to be sending to your inbox. So I'm going to be recording prayers and stuff. And that way you can listen to them whenever. I was thinking, yeah, we'll meet every day and da-da-da-da. But I find sometimes that's very frustrating and people feel like they miss it. So if I send you the audio and you can just sort of listen to it whenever, I will have some video too explaining what it is that I'm doing, and what it's all about. So you'll get that as well. So you can listen to it whenever you want to, whether it's in the morning, in the evening, afternoon, on your drive, and listening to it that way. And that's what it's. And then meeting once a week at 9 a.m. And I was thinking probably either Saturday morning or Sunday morning at 9 a.m. So, and so that we can meet and just go over the week, go over what's going to be happening in the new week and some of the things that are going to be coming out there. Ooh, I just got another pop-up. Elon Musk and Doge just uncovered some more money going where it shouldn't be going. Man, people get so upset about that. You gotta wonder, why are you getting upset? Why are you upset? Why are people so upset of RFK Jr.? Because he wants to. They've gone to the extreme where I've listened to a lot of things that he said, and he's, oh, he's taken away the vaccine. He never said he was taking away the vaccine. He said he wants to inform people. He wants to give you that information, right? It's a freedom of choice, but a freedom of choice where you get the information. He's not taking all the cereals off the shelf. But what he's doing is looking at the things that are in the cereals that maybe that's poisonous. Oh, maybe we shouldn't be having that food coloring, right? So he's getting you to, to clean up the food. He's getting people to say, hey, you can plant your own garden. You can do, you can do these things to enhance your own health. He's allowing people to have those choices, which is great in the States. In Canada, we don't have that. In Canada, there's a lot of restrictions when it comes to with Health Canada and the way that they structure in the foods and the vitamins and minerals that you are allowed it or allowed on the shelf, because they restrict a lot that they won't let on there, or the amount, right? So they restrict amounts and stuff like that, and either lower it, the dosage of it, like vitamin D, for instance. They lowered the dosage, where if you go into Europe or you go to England or even United States, you can get 2,000 IUs of vitamin D or even 4,000 IUs of vitamin D. Here in Canada, you can't. They only allow it for 5,500 for children. And so they limit it. What they also have done with Health Canada too is that they've called something extra strength for different vitamins, where before it was just regular. That was just the regular dosage. They took out the ones that they did have for the extra strength. So if you wanted the old extra strength, you have to basically double what it is of that vitamin or mineral or whatever it is. So those restrictions, these are the things that a lot of people are like fighting against, are not wanting those types of restrictions and allowing the freedom of choice of people making, okay, I want to make a choice on whether I want to take mugwort or not take mugwort, right? Or I want to make a choice that I want to take 5,000 IUs of vitamin D. Definitely see your doctor, your health practitioner before you do things, and under the advice of your doctor and stuff. And your natural health practitioner, definitely definitely do that. So, because sometimes self-diagnosis isn't good. But what I'm trying to say is education and being able to educate yourself on these things, where they're wanting to ban that. Right? So like in Germany, they're wanting to ban that. They're wanting to ban if you did a funny meme on something because somebody's got butt hurt because of it, right? Or you insulted somebody and they're like, oh, I'm so offended. They insulted me. Oh, it's like they insulted you, but you're upset that they insulted you because whatever reason. I mean, gosh, I could, like, man, how many times have people said things to me online that weren't nice, right? But that's where we're entering into, and that's partially there's some, anyways, there's some things I can't say here, but that I can see happening that would freak the fuck out of people. And they're like, no, that would never happen. I'm just like, yep. There are partnerships that are coming. Remember, I told you, who you thought your enemy isn't. Think about that. Who you thought your alignment was is not the alignment that you thought was. Noticing how the alignments are changing. Noticing how things are changing and what that alignments are, not only in your personal life, but in the worldview. And what does that mean in the long term? What does that look like in the long term? And the astrology is showing us, but it scares people because they want to stick to the old comforts, the old ways. This is how I do. This is how I always go shopping. Like on a family day, how many people were in the bloody mall? Like it's a family day. So you're you go to the mall. How that is changing. How that is changing. And it's like, will the malls be here in 5 years? Maybe, maybe not. Right? How we shopped 100 years ago is not how we shop now. Right? So it's like all of these things that are changing. And, when I say that, it kind of gives me a weirdness in my stomach, like, oh, do I really say that? Do I really want to believe in that? No, because that means I'm going to have to change. I'm going to have to reevaluate the way I do my shopping, the way I reconnect with people. Coffee houses are, where people used to connect and meet, are closing down, or there's no seating area in them. Right? Or the seating area is very industrial, so you don't stay so long. So places where you used to gather are no longer. Interesting. What are the new gathering places? Why? Why did secret societies, evolve? Why did these underground poets go underground, like these underground coffee houses appeared? This back in the 1700s, right? People started to meet in different places in England. How interesting is that? You could no longer practice mass. It's illegal for you to practice mass. So you can't do that anymore. If you do that, you're going to be thrown into the Tower of London. If you're rich. If you're not rich, you're not going in the Tower of London. You're going somewhere worse. That's for fucking sure. But these are the things that being aware of and watching and saying, okay, where's this leading us? Right? And this is where that surrender, this is where it's like, okay, I see all of that craziness. I see this movie being played out. I see all of that ooey gooey shit that's going on here. And do I run in there and go with it? Like Flag Day. Flag Day was this weekend. And on Flag Day, did you see the flags that were in Quebec, in Montreal? Like, there wasn't one Canadian flag. Interesting. How many people knew it was Flag Day? Where was the celebration? Well, a whole bunch of other people knew it was Flag Day. So it's like all of this craziness that's evolving and saying, okay, what's happening here? Some of it I don't understand. And I know there's that underlying current that's going on. Yet the change is there, and it's like, no, I got to go to this higher realm. And this higher realm is basically entering into a place where a lot of people don't want to go. They don't like it. And it could be, and I'm gonna say this, a lot of people don't want to go with this higher realm with Jesus or the Christ consciousness. They don't, because of the dogma, because what has been said, because of other people and what they say, the construct of it. But what happens if we let go of that construct and just enter into it and allow it? What does that mean to us? Ooh, that means I'm going to deny my witchiness, or I know I have to be a pagan. And the thing is that whatever you idolize, like if you don't put the divine, whatever your divine is, I don't give a fuck. Whatever your divine is, if you don't put that forward, then you're putting whatever that idol is that you are worried about first. That was a mind fuck for me. So if I'm not putting God into everything I do right now, and the divine into everything I do, then whatever I am worried about, whatever I am working on, or whatever, that is the idol on my altar. And if you're not replacing that idol on the altar, whatever it is, money, sex, relationships, work, whatever, if I'm not replacing that with something, it's still going to come up. It's just like being an alcoholic. If I'm not replacing that addiction with something, whether it's, AA meetings, whether it's me getting out, going for a walk, whether it's, whatever it is, quitting smoking, if I don't change the habit of what it is when I smoke. So every day I smoke after I eat, or I go out with everybody and I go outside and go for a smoke because that's, that's what we do. If I don't change that, that will still come up. And that's what we're at. There's these parts in our, and that's where a lot of that is the soul attachment. And what that soul attachment is, along with the ego, right? Or if we don't say anything, we just allow things just to happen and we don't say anything. Well, I knew about that, or whatever, or being too afraid to say anything. Tony Robertson in the States, or in the UK, who's in jail right now. I mean, he spoke out. He's not even in jail on a felony, and the shit that's going on with him and the torture that's happening to him. It's like, whoa. And a lot of people say, oh, no, you're crazy. He's a radical. He's all this. Don't give a shit. What's being done to him is unjust. It's wrong. Especially when you think, well, we are a developed country. We don't do that kind of stuff. Really? You're that developed, and look at what you're doing to the one person because you're so afraid of what he or she is going to say. So we'll shut you down. We'll keep you quiet. So you don't say anything anymore. Interesting concept. Yeah. And in comes the sun. So we got the sun. The sun is coming out. We got sun is coming out. It is where that change is coming. It's coming to that heart. The sun is the heart coming into that place. We're going to allow ourselves to shine. But are we so afraid of allowing ourselves to shine? Are we so afraid of allowing that to be seen? Because if I do, I might be judged because it's there's a new idea, new ideology, a new belief system. But I want myself to go. I want myself to be. But I'm afraid. I don't want to do that because, people are going to think I'm crazy or I'm nutty or I sold out, whatever that is. But you have the skills to do it. You have the skills. There's something new on the horizon. There's something new you've built a lot. You've done a lot. You're still building on stuff, but there's something new that's coming in that's going to allow you to shine. Are you going to pick that piece up? Are you going to allow yourself to do it? Right? Or are you going to hide away? Two major arcana. So in comes the Temperance. That means, how do you want to fulfill it? How do you want to change it? How do you want to balance it out? It's all about a balancing act. Where are you going to let go and allow? And then where are you going to step into to continue on? Lots of questions. May not know all the answers right now, and that's okay. But admitting that I don't know the answers, that's the gem. That's the gem. That's the jewel of it. That's the beauty of it. I don't know all the answers, but I'm going to trust in the divine will that it is what it is going to be what it is. All right. It's like, here's a little tidbit on the divine. So let's say you're heading out on a trip, or you're heading out somewhere, and then you're driving and you're, oh shoot, I forgot whatever it is. And it's like, oh, I got to go back and get it. The divine is getting you to go back, however you want to look at that, for whatever reason. But you could fight it and say, oh, wow, that's so stupid. I got to go back and blah, 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 and get all upset about it instead of surrendering to it. Okay, no, I got to go back. I'm going to be okay. I'm still going to get there on time. Everything's going to be fine. I'm going to be safe and secure. I'm going to be safe and secure because God is with me. I'm going to be safe and secure in all that I do. I surrender to that and I allow. And I'm bringing in the new balance to allow myself to shine. There you go. Yeah. Some crazy shit's going to be happening. This week is going to be dramatic, to say the least, in a lot of ways. And bring in a lot of drama for some people too. And it's like, okay, how am I going to take that drama? Pisces season, if you're unsure of the direction you want to go into, or you're unsure of what is needing to be let go, or the changes that are coming in, Pisces season is really going to show you that. It's going to bring you all the craziness that you've just been waiting for. Yeah. Okay. All right. If you're wanting a reading, you're wanting more in depth, book it in. If you're wanting to go along with me on this 21-day journey, definitely sign up today. It's $88. So we'll talk to you soon, everyone. Love you all. Bye-bye.